What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Couple Things,
With Shawn and Andrew.
a podcast all about couples.
And the things they go through.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about this the other day. I feel like we need to change our tagline for this podcast.
You think so?
I do. I feel like it needs to be like a couple of things, you know?
Like a couple things?
Like we're just going to talk about a couple things. I think people get the gist, but we're now dipping our toes into more topics that are kind of about couples. They are, because it's everything that we go through.
Yeah.
But it's not just about a relationship.
I have a couple thoughts on this podcast too. Now that we're airing it out. Okay.
They've
They've just been all bottled up in my brain. All right.
As you point to your
First
chest.
thing is we're recording this in 4K for the first time.
Wow. Do we think it's going to work?
We'll see. But the video, if it does work, it's going to be real nice and crispy.
Crisp.
For those of you who did not know, we do audio and video. Kind of a cool thing about podcasts is you can kind of just record the microphone audio and then slap cameras up just to say you did afterwards. So that's exciting. I also was just reading about the power of podcasts, and the political elections just happened.
Yep.
And they said this was the election of the podcast.
It was.
And not that you asked, but Shawn and I did get asked to interview some of the presidential candidates.
Yeah.
And we declined.
Both of the big ones.
We declined. That's not our expertise. Actually, I don't even know what our expertise is. But
a couple things.
That did not feel like a lane we wanted to cross into. But anyway, podcasts are really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really just honored that we have a podcast that's been going on for 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm not honored. I'm proud that we've done it.
Here's my other thought.
I have another thought too.
What is it?
No, you go first.
I want to merge Second Cut back with Couple Things.
I'm up for that. Well, we did that for a finite reason that no longer exists.
But do you know why?
Why?
Here's my thought. We can cut all this out too. If it's not just Couple Things anymore, it's a couple things.
We're just bunching that in there.
Because all of the conversations we're having on Second Cup now are not relationally, like, it's not just about marriages, which that's what we talk about. You and I are husband and wife. Everything we do relates to our marriage. But a lot of these conversations we've been having are amazing.
No, I agree. We've really
and
had
I
some
feel
great
like they
combos.
should be on this channel.
I see your merge, and I raised you. I've been thinking, what if we started posting these podcasts on the main channel?
I'm down.
This is a productive conversation all of a sudden. You got anything else you want to bring up?
I love you. I think you're here's the last thing. You went to Boston this weekend and you kept sending me pictures. And I was like, holy crap. You just keep getting more attractive. And I don't know how it's possible.
You're wearing like this cute little tennis skirt with some high ankle socks. And
okay, give us a second, guys.
All right, that's not what we're here to talk about.
We are here to talk about traveling with kids.
Why are we talking about this? Well, you may have noticed that the holidays are right around the corner. We have
they're
Thanksgiving.
here. They're not around the corner.
We're listening to Christmas music. We're watching Christmas movies.
Yep.
It's a Wonderful Life is a great throwback if you're looking for a good Christmas movie. But inevitably with holidays usually comes travel of some sort. So we've done some traveling with our kids.
We've done a lot of traveling with our kids.
We've taken them near and far and here and there.
2 years ago, when we had Jet was a 1-year-old and Drew was a 3-year-old, we went on 15 trips in 1 year with them. Do you remember that?
That's pretty ambitious of us.
We stayed in Airbnbs, hotels, we camped, we did like all these different things, international trips. We travel a lot with our kids, whether Andrew believes it or not. They've been on a lot of planes. They've been on RVs, trains. We have stayed in every accommodation. We've done it all.
Good memories, man.
kids.
I'm just kind of like running through the memories right now. It's good.
What's funny, people will always stop and ask, like moms will ask me, like, what do I need to do? And part of me does what you just did, which is like, I don't know. And then part of me reflects and I'm like, actually, yeah, we do this a lot.
Yeah, and I just had a friend say that they wanted to go to Paris. They just had a baby, and they want to go to Paris next summer. So what products did we bring? What did we do that helped or that didn't help? And, you know, they're kind of intimidated at doing this trip, even though they want to.
Yep.
So our goal with this episode is, one, to just have a time where we could really stop and think intentionally about how we've gone about this, because we haven't really done it in an organized way, dig into how we do it. And then two, give you encouragement that like traveling with kids definitely increases the activity and the busyness, and some may phrase that as stress.
In the logistical side of it. Like it takes a lot more planning.
But my gosh, it also enhances the experience so much. So that's what we're here to do today. And we did just spend 3 weeks in Europe with our kids.
Which,
we were over there for work.
Let me take a second. We know that sounds so incredibly bougie and so privileged. And yes, we are totally aware how blessed we are. And not everybody gets to get on a plane with their kids. But we still all have the opportunity to take little road trips and like experience new things with our children.
Yeah, we're not talking about going to Paris.
No.
Maybe that's not your thing. Maybe you go, maybe taking a 4-hour road trip.
Yeah.
Those are in some ways as intimidating.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes
Still to
harder.
this day. Anyway, and we've done a lot of trial and error as we've traveled with our kids. But since traveling has become just kind of a part of our life, mostly because work requests us to go here, there, and everywhere, I feel like we have actually gotten pretty decent at finding stuff that works for us. So maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. Hopefully, as we work through this, don't say, oh, that would never work for me, I'm not going to do it. Just think, oh, that's an interesting way to approach whatever, packing the bags. And maybe I won't do it exactly like that, but I do like the approach of thinking about it in a different way. So
I want to do 2 things first. First, if you are new here and aren't aware of like our trips and like what we have done as a family, let me list some for you just to give you the broad range of like the experience we have when it comes to traveling with kids. Our kids right now are 5, 3, and almost 11 months. We travel with our babies starting from 12 weeks old.
We took Drew on a trip to Park City when she was 4 or 5 weeks. Is that right?
I don't think that's possible.
It was October 29th she was born, and we went to the grand opening of Woodward in December. I think it was 5 or 6 weeks.
It's aggressive. Okay. That's aggressive. But yeah, we travel really early with our babies.
We're not recommending that, but
it's not just Paris trips. We have gone on multiple mission trips. We have gone to the lake. We've been in RVs. We have gone and stayed in the mountains. We have gone to Nana's house and stayed at friends' houses. We have done the community living with our extended family where we have shared a bed with all of our kids, and we've also been in places where each kid gets their own room. So I want to just do the caveat of like, we've kind of done it all with them. We've been on a cruise ship with our babies. I forgot about that.
Yep.
We've been on small boats. We've
done trains.
Yeah.
We live in Nashville, Tennessee. Most of my family's in Indiana. Most of Shawn's family is in Iowa. So we'll make that road trip, which is about 4.5 hours to Indiana. And anyway, yeah, all the car seats, all the snacks, all the bags for a 2-night trip or a day trip, all the way to a 3-week trip where you're in Europe and you don't have access to the normal resources. So to Shawn's point, we have dabbled in a little bit of all environments.
And we have also done trips where we take our parents with us to have extra help. When we went to Paris, we did take my mom and Andrew's mom because we were working at the same time, and we know that's a massive luxury. But we've also done trips across the world and overseas where we take all of our babies by ourselves. So with that,
love it.
Let's dive on in.
Okay.
So, should we just start with Paris?
Let's just start with Paris. Let's do it. I want to start with, is there anything you'd have done differently for our Paris trip? Would you have packed anything different? Here's the first thing that comes to mind. Bear, our youngest, was 7 months old, 7.5 months old when we took the trip.
Oh.
We took, there was a 9 p.m. flight from Nashville to London.
A red eye overnight.
That we thought, this is going to be perfect. Bear's going to be tired. Usually he goes to bed at 7. This is a 9 o'clock flight. We'll show up to the airport at like 7:30, go through security. Hopefully he'll fall asleep in his stroller and then be asleep the whole entire flight.
We literally thought he was the easy one, and we were worried about the toddlers.
Oh, were we wrong? So it turns out Bear didn't sleep.
At all.
Maybe he slept 15 minutes. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We were working on that flight, but
we hit low points.
Between like the announcer for boarding, waking him up, and the announcer on the plane with the pilots and everything, and then the lights on the plane, and then all this stuff.
And then he didn't fit in the bassinet. The bassinet was a joke. It was a basket. It was a hand towel basket that they handed us, and they're like, "This is the bassinet that you booked."
So he didn't sleep much. So I think now I know that a red-eye flight for a young child is not a good idea. I think I should have known that beforehand.
Yeah.
But I was overly optimistic.
We were very optimistic that an overnight flight for all of our kids would be the best option because they would sleep, they would get there, we would start our new day. And we both agreed in flying home, having not taken that option, it, yes, is more work to like entertain your kids for a very extended period of time in a seat on a plane. Like that takes more planning. You have to bring a lot more activities. You have to space out your snacks and your food and like going potty and all of that. But it's so much better to just exhaust yourself with playing than try to fight the sleep monster.
Yeah.
For 6+ hours.
Yeah. I do want to talk about, because you do a phenomenal job with this. What does it look like? So we have all the checked bags that we can talk about, what you pack in there, diapers and all the stuff. But then the bags that we bring on the plane, you've been very thoughtful with.
Yes. So our bags on our plane that we always bring, I do not, and I highly recommend this, you guys, I do not let our kids carry their own backpacks through the airport. Why? Because kids don't carry their own backpacks through the airport. If they do for like 10 minutes, great. But other than that, you're now carrying 2 extra backpacks. Also, kids' backpacks are small. And they don't hold a lot. So I always have one big backpack and then one rolling carry-on.
In addition to my bag, which is a backpack that is mostly my stuff, some kid stuff.
So I'd say for the most part, especially if we're taking an overseas flight or if we're going on like a long trip, we'll take 2 rolling carry-ons and 2 backpacks that mom and dad carry. That's it.
By the way, if you don't have this, look into it. We have our backpacks have like a little strap on the bottom that latch on to the roller bags, so that when you're walking through the airport, the less you can carry, the better. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to roll the backpack on the roller bag so that we can either carry a kid, or maybe we're carrying the backpack and the kid's riding on the roller bag, which is also clutch.
Yes.
Your kids are probably like, I would say 2.5. They started being able to have enough strength to like hold themselves on the roller reliably. So anyway, it's like you don't want to be carrying a backpack and 2 kids. That just feels like a lot. Carry on.
We'll also sometimes bring a stroller through the airport. You can usually move faster. That is though one more thing that you have to like fold up and gate check.
If you're gonna do a stroller, I actually don't know if I'd do a Doona. Doonas are clutch in most situations, but they don't have the little undercarriage where you can put something like a backpack. I actually like having the stroller with us because you can throw whatever in the bottom of it and be good to go. But
one thing that I will say with strollers, and you guys might disagree with this, but I have seen a lot of families who travel with their strollers who, when it comes time to gate check them, they'll bring all of like the travel bags and they'll like break it down and then they'll protect their strollers. Hear me out. Strollers are an investment. Yes. We still have some of the same strollers that we've had since Drew. Strollers get destroyed by your children.
In normal everyday use.
They puke, they poop, they spill, they wipe their dirty hands and their dirty paws on everything. Having an airport attendant toss it onto a conveyor belt and it get a little dirty, I think is worth the effort and time of like
not having to put it in a bag.
Yeah, don't put it in a bag. Don't take it apart. I think Uppa Baby, you can like truly dismantle your entire Uppa Baby and put it in a travel bag. Don't do that.
No.
It takes so much time and effort that just like fold it up and toss it out.
Maybe that's more insight into our style and lack of like cleanliness. But
It's also
maybe
probably a
that's
3-kid thing that like we don't have that.
Yeah, I'm glad we don't do the bag thing. We've never
Okay.
really talked about that, but I'm glad we don't.
So with our 2 roller bags that we take on the planes when it's a longer trip and our 2 backpacks, in those, we pack the same exact thing every time. Toys, activities, coloring books. I always forget the name. There's this certain type of slime that you can buy at Target.
Love it.
That it's not slimy enough to like get stuck into carpet, but it's not fluid or liquid enough to get flagged by TSA. I think it's like Sam's or Alex.
It comes in a
putty.
tin. I think it's something putty.
Just Google Target putty.
Okay, putty. Great.
But it's a certain type of whatever. I'll put 4 or 5 cans.
Crazy errands.
Yeah. It's the best. So coloring books, sticker books, any type of toys if your kids are super attached to them. But in my bags, it's activities for the kids, like distractions, snacks, and then all of their must-have hysterical meltdown if we lose it essentials. So like if you're checking bags and they get lost, what can your child not live without?
Talking blankies?
Yep.
Passies?
Yep.
They're at that age.
Sound machine sometimes.
Yeah. I will say too,
a change of clothes.
We usually do the favorite toys in our backpacks that we'll put at our feet in the airplane seat, and then that'll keep them busy long enough to have everyone get on the plane, everyone sit down for takeoff. Maybe by then they're tired of it, but then it's way it takes more effort to get into the carry-on like zip bag that we might store in the overhead. So we put like the more nuanced things in those as opposed to the backpack.
I will also say this. Wow, we could go down a giant rabbit hole.
I'm realizing
how many things we've tried and failed and disliked. I will say this. On flights, I have single-handedly wasted more money and resources trying out every possible blow-up footrest, blow-up bed.
Breast milk warmer.
You remember
that thing?
The pole suitcase that turns into like an extra bed space for the kids. None of it works. None of it is worth the money. Trust me, none of it. None of it.
And it ends up just being like if you blow up that mattress and then you have this whole extra thing there that's just taking up space.
And then the amount of time it takes to unblow it up and fold it back up into the same size and shape that it was. And it just, trust me, none of it is worth the effort. Bring their blankies. Bring something that makes them feel warm and fuzzy, just in like being comfortable. The rest you can deal with.
We're also pretty friendly to the iPad on airplanes.
Yeah.
Obviously, that doesn't apply to kids of all ages. I feel like if the kid is under like, I feel like 1.5, our kids were not interested in screen time at all. Over 1.5, they're a little more like attentive to it. But we got each of them little headphones off of Amazon for cheap. And then we'll just give them this iPad and they'll watch it. We also did Shawn put a lot of effort into creating a list of all the products we use for traveling.
Yeah.
I think it skews probably mostly international travel, so keep that in mind.
Like long flight stuff.
But we'll link that down below. And that is a pretty extensive list of all the things. And to her point, we've tried so many more things. This is what made the final cut. So
I will also say with the iPad, something that we have figured out that has been brilliant. If you don't want the iPad, Leapfrog products have been awesome. So like the Leapfrog books and activities our kids absolutely love and they'll spend hours on. But on the iPad, we're not always just serving up movies. Make sure you download your movies. Make sure they're not like Wi-Fi specific. Download them. But we do Duolingo ABC.
Yeah.
Which Drew will do for 5 hours straight, which is wild. It's a lot of fun for kids. Or here's a hack. You can do it on your iPhone or an iPad. If you go into your notes, like just your basic notes app, you can color on your notes app, and that Drew and Jet will do for at least an hour. They do like sketches. You can change colors. You can change crayons or markers or whatever. But you can do that on an iPad as well.
We've also readjusted our expectation. It's not like you give the kid the drawing pad or the iPad and say, okay, I got to do what I want.
No.
It is actually, it's worked out much better when that just consumes most of their focus and attention, and we're still pretty engaged with the kid. Like, oh, wow, you just drew a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Which I think feeds into them being focused on that for longer, as opposed to like just being hands off. So like you're still doing the thing. You're just trying to keep them distracted to some degree. Also, the bags that we check.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Those are the big boy bags.
The big boys. I try to pack as minimal as possible.
You do a great job.
Paris, we had a lot. We had three massive bags or 2.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's just talk about like a 1-week trip to, let's say, like Los Angeles or something. If you're looking to arm your immune system this holiday season, you need to make sure you're getting all your daily vitamins. But good news, right now, AG1 is running a special Black Friday offer for all of November.
AG1 is a daily health drink packed with nutrients to help alleviate bloating, support sustained energy, and whole body health.
AG1 can help combat the stress of holiday schedules while helping your digestion and supporting your energy. We like to drink our AG1 before we even drink our coffee in the morning to make sure we're set for the day.
This holiday season, try AG1 for yourself or even gift it to someone special. It's the perfect time to focus on supporting your body with an easy and surprisingly delicious daily health drink.
And that's why we've been partnering with AG1 for so long. Every week of November, AG1 will be running a special Black Friday offer for a free gift with your first subscription, in addition to the welcome kit with vitamin D3 plus K2.
So make sure to check out drinkag1.com/couplethings to see what gift you can get this week. That's drinkag1.com/couplethings to start your holiday season on a healthier note while supplies last. A 1-week trip to Los Angeles, I'm going to try my hardest to do 1 bag for Andrew and I. So like we share a bag, and then 1 bag for all the kids. And I try to pack, I don't know, just like your basics, your shoes, anything that you would use on a daily basis, but try to extend it a little bit. And then I try to pack diapers, wipes, sound machines, monitors, blankets, toothbrush, toothpaste. Understanding, though, that any of those items we can pick up at Walgreens or CVS if we need it.
So typically the way it is, it's I don't know what the dimensions are. It's probably 4 feet long.
No.
3 feet?
Yeah. It's like a medium size.
Anyway, it unfolds. We use Toomey. One side is filled with the kids' clothes. By the way, we never used to do laundry on vacation before we had kids, and I feel like now it's actually really helpful to just say, let's assume we're going to do laundry once in this 1-week trip. So one side is full of the kids' clothes. One side is full of all like the trinkets that we use for sleep. So the sound machine, she usually has some portion of it filled with diapers.
Which we're also kind of getting out of that era, so it's different.
Yeah.
You definitely pack more for an infant, and you lighten the load the older the kids get.
Yeah.
Infants are more particular. You need sleep sacks and bottles and like all of this stuff, whereas kids you don't really need. I will bring 1 sippy cup or a water bottle per kid. When we are traveling, we aren't specific with like their bottles or their sippy cups since we only bring 1. We'll do a lot of like filling water up at the airport or getting warm milk or something from Starbucks or from, on the plane. You can ask a stewardess to do that.
Yeah. When we arrived at the airport, we've started using the curbside check-in.
Yeah. Southwest, baby.
Yeah. So like the less time you can have with all the kids and all the bags simultaneously, the better. So we'll usually just give the people there a tip to check that in. And then, I think.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have another thought. one of the questions you guys asked was, how do you handle carrying all the kids' stuff, such as pack and plays, car seats, strollers, luggage? Here's another thing. Here's another trick that you can do. Traveling with pack and plays, car seats, strollers, luggage, etc. can be a lot. Depending upon how long your trip is, I don't know what the balance is here. Maybe it's just like filtering through what the price would be or the logistics of it all. But anymore, most places, even in the world that you would travel to, have rental options for pack and plays, car seats, strollers, anything like that. It's always worth calling your hotel to say, do you guys have bassinets? Do you have cribs? Do you have pack and plays? Do you have strollers? Do you have anything available that you can put in my room? Because that changes what you have to pack. A lot of times hotels even have shuttle services that can pick you up from the airport, and some of them have car seats. If you like tell them I have an infant, they have those on stock.
It's pretty huge. That's helpful if you're in a hotel. If you're in an Airbnb, what's the service you use for the?
So you can either ask your Airbnb if they have it, or
what's the name of it? Baby rental.
Baby Quip.
Yeah, Baby Quip.
QUIP.com. So you go to babyquip.com, you type in the address you're staying at, and all of these moms and families that like live nearby can basically like rent out a lot of their products. And they're very clean. They're very safe. They'll drop them at the door. They'll pick them up when you leave. It's a wonderful service. So much so that we went to Northern California when Drew and Jet were really young. And we were staying in Airbnb. And it was just, we had so much stuff. We had 3 trips consecutively back to back. So we weren't able to like travel with strollers and car seats and pack and plays. It was just way too much. So we rented it. And you can even like rent packages of like toys based on, do you have girls or boys? What are their ages? They'll bring Barbies. They'll bring some like books. And then some services are like obviously cheaper than others. You just kind of have to like search around.
TSA pre-check and clear. We do have TSA pre-check. We got global entry, known traveler number, which then carries over into TSA pre-check. I think it's absolutely worth looking into. Obviously, there's restrictions like locations. Certain locations do it, and then obviously there's a price to pay as well. But if the parent has TSA pre-check, then children 12 and under can go with their parents through the pre-check lines, and I guess children 13 to 17 can use the TSA pre-check lines if they're traveling on the same reservation as their parent. So a slight nuance there. I think that's helped a lot. Clear, we have it, but we don't really use it. We just
I don't think it's that much better than like a TSA pre-check. I think they're all the same.
At the Nashville airport, it's pretty much the same. Yeah. I know at Denver airport, Clear makes a huge difference.
Or Florida, I think. Orlando.
Yeah. Do we eat it at the airport to bring food? So as soon as we get through security, we pretty much go to the gate. We try to find like a little isolated group of seats that we can have the kids run. They have a lot of energy, so they're jumping, they're running, they're crawling through the seats. We try to just have like a little corner to ourselves. Usually one of us as parents will go get food and bring it back, and then we'll save the snacks mostly for the plane. Obviously, it doesn't. The kids sometimes want to eat the snacks. Maybe they want to eat the food. It depends. But that's how we approach that.
2 more questions that I saw. How do you handle flight tantrums?
Let's talk about that, because that was a big theme of our Nashville to London flight.
It's gonna happen.
We didn't handle that one well, to be honest. Emotions were high.
Yeah, It was
but
hard. But it was also our baby, which is so hard, and I was postpartum.
I think that was self-imposed stress.
Yeah.
I don't think it was like other people giving us dirty looks or flight attendants stressing. Actually, the flight attendants end up being really, really great. I think if you're nice to them, this is how it kind of works in life. They'll reciprocate that. But it's just, I don't know. I guess we have
Yeah.
We had the expectation that we were going to be sleeping, which was wrong. So then we responded to it with like, we were.
We won't
when I say
ever do an overnight flight again. Let's just say that.
When I say we were stressed, it was mostly just tension between Shawn and I.
We weren't speaking.
We didn't talk that whole time.
No.
I do think.
He was so sad though.
I think most people on a flight have grace and forgiveness for kids on the flight. Also, we have not had it. Bear lost his stuff. It's been very rare that our kid would have just absolutely lost their marbles on the flight. I think you've done a good job, even with like their ears popping, having them drink something.
Yep.
What else do you do?
Chew gum, give them food, drink a bottle, something like that, just to make sure.
Yeah. So we're trying
with infants, I always nursed or fed them a bottle on takeoff and landing. Always.
Yeah. We try to account for all those variables, like physical. Are they hungry? Are they thirsty? Do they need to go to the bathroom? We try to get them with as much energy out as possible, so to set ourselves up for the best physiological, approach on the flight.
The next question was, how do you handle potty training on a flight? This, I actually, I don't think it's difficult. We were dealing with potty training with Drew and Jet at different times when we were flying. And what I always did is I brought emergency pull-ups. And I basically would just talk to Drew and Jet and say, like, do you have to go potty? And if they had to go potty in a time where, like, you weren't allowed to get up and go use the bathroom, it would be emergency pull-up time, which to me is the same as them going to the toilet, because they're like, Mommy, this is an emergency. I have to go potty. And so in their seat, I would, like, put a pull-up on them really quickly.
I think a lot of people do that on car trips as well.
Yeah.
Maybe pull over, put the pull-up on, take care of that.
But in the potty training situation, they're still voicing that they have to go. There are some other times too, like if you're in the car and you can't stop, a lot of times I would just put my kids in pull-ups, because in the potty training process, they're constantly trying to go potty, just giving them grace to be like, you don't have to be a big kid right now. You can go pee in your pull-up.
And I think you taking the initiative to remind them too does help. How do you get them to sleep on the plane as a baby?
Don't expect them to.
Or, I would not expect them to. I think, let's see, was Jet our best plane sleeper?
Always.
Jet slept really well on the plane. Bear, I would say not really. Bear wants to always be a part of the action. So if anybody's up, he wants to be up.
He gets distracted.
But Jet just loved cuddles, and he would fall asleep if you gave him a passy and held him. Drew
had a hard time. Drew would fight it a lot, just like Bear.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of case by case. We do bring, again, like all their sleep stuff pretty much with us on the plane, and then the white noise of like the flight helps. Obviously, like closing the windows, making sure the air's not in their face helps. And then we always had better luck with window seats than we did with aisle seats.
I would say also, one of the questions says, how do you handle nap schedule on a plane or while traveling? Have grace, throw it out the window for a while. So don't try to like, don't book flights like we did that mess them up completely, like overnight. Now, I do have friends who prefer overnights and it works with their kids. It just didn't with us. So we try to travel during the day and always protect their sleep at night, which I think is easier. Give them grace with napping. Don't try to force them to sleep. Don't try to force them to stay on schedule. It's going to be fluid. But I would also say, because one of the other questions is the flight there or the flight home harder, I would always have this expectation, and I don't know why it's been like this, especially with time changes. I think it is always easier going than coming home. And maybe it's just because they're home and they feel this freedom and like the excitement has worn off. But going, like we have gone to Greece, we have gone to, we've flown very far distances with our kids and had massive time zone changes. And for them, it has always been easier going than coming home. Going, it always took a day or two to adjust. Coming home, it took 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Every time.
Renting a car versus using Uber.
Rent a car.
Does Uber have car seat option? Don't they?
Uber has car seat options only in major cities.
Yeah.
So if you're going not to LA or New York, I would say rent a car because Ubers can turn you down if you don't have a car seat. It's also so hard to lug around a car seat, and it's so much easier to rent a car. Also, rental car agencies have the option of renting car seats. You can also go to Lost and Found at airports and see if they have any Lost and Found car seats that you can borrow for a short amount of time. We have done that before.
We'd always return that.
Yep.
We've also used Turo. Sometimes we're familiar enough with airports to know like it's going to be a long trip to get to the rental car place, and then that's obviously its own sequence of events and hassle. So sometimes Turo, you're able to get a car sooner and easier.
Turo.
Yeah.
It's like Airbnb, but for cars.
But obviously,
so it's people's personal cars. Sorry.
Obviously, the rental car depends on a lot of stuff, like where you're going, how long you're staying, whatever. But we try to think of things as minimizing transitions of unloading bags, loading bags, whatever. And I think having a rental car, like even when you get to the Airbnb, it's like the time window that you have when you have a rental car is so much larger than like when the Uber driver's trying to get you out, and then you're like, I don't know, you're feeling rushed. So for us, that's kind of helped just to pull up, park the car.
Yeah.
We'll take the kid in, put him to sleep, and then we'll get the bags later. And then it's like a little more casual.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. This month is all about gratitude, and someone I'm thankful for lately is you, baby.
Thanks, babe.
Thank you for all you do for our family.
Thank you, babe. I'm thankful for you too. It's always a good reminder this time of year to let the people in your life know that you're thankful for them.
I agree. Another thing I'm thankful for this year is therapy. What a game changer that's been for us.
Therapy really has been really great. I feel like we've both grown this year, and I'm glad we made that a priority. It's no joke having 3 kids, and I'm grateful for all the wisdom we've gained through therapy.
Me too, baby. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. We couldn't recommend it more. It's so convenient and all online, which I love, especially with holiday travel and crazy work schedules coming up.
To get started, you just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you could switch therapists at any time for no additional charge to make sure it's a great match for you.
Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/EastFam today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/EastFam.
I will say, too, we have done international trips where we have rented cars and not rented cars. So when we went to London, we didn't rent a car. We used public transportation, and that was actually wonderful. The taxis were wonderful. We used Bear's Duna then, and then the kids, we'll put it in the link below. There's like this new harness vest that you can get for kids where it's not like lugging around a car seat, but it's still safe for them. In Italy, we actually did rent a car. So we have done both, but I do think internationally you're going to have a harder time finding car seats because it's all just like different standards and protocols. So doing more logistical thinking when it comes to that.
Yeah. Let's do this. Let's end this as a part 1. Well, let's end this after I have one question, and then we'll do a part 2 with some more specifics, like what our setup is once we get there, kind of more specifics of the products that we do pack or what we pick up when we get there. But one thing I was just thinking of, is there anything snack-wise? We didn't really talk specific snacks, and I do actually feel like we are really diligent with not giving the kids sugar.
Yeah.
We're not like pump them with juice or candy or high sugar content, stuff like that, which I think has really, really helped us. So what snacks do you pack?
I will say, so in my bag that we pack from home, I do a lot of like the dry goods stuff. So we do a lot of Kind bars. We do a lot of macro bars.
Kids love Z bars.
Yeah. So we'll do bars, your Annie's Goldfish or like whatever. I'll put that kind of stuff in my bag. And then when we get to the airport, I feel like airports are getting really, really good now with snacks. You're normal airport newsstand shop, if that makes sense. Usually you can find there, without fail, you can find Greek yogurts, which is great, granola or nuts, trail mix. You can find hard-boiled eggs, which might gross some people out, but I think it's a great option.
Our kids love hard-boiled eggs and pickles, and then
you
hummus
can
too.
Always find pickles.
Yeah.
Hummus with pretzels, hummus with veggies. You can do charcuterie little plates and trays that have like the veggies and cheese. You can also get cheese sticks now almost everywhere, like string cheese. And then you can also get in almost every kiosk or airport, they have these little trays that have like salami or prosciutto or some sort of like meat and cheese with crackers. So we like load up on all of that and take that onto the plane with us.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking about it. As tempted as I get walking through the airport with all the restaurants that are there, like burger joints, pizza, whatever, we actually don't usually eat that ourselves, which I think helps us physically respond well.
Yeah.
And also prevents our kid from eating that and thus sets them up for like a good physical experience. You don't want to be on the if it's hurting your belly while you're on the plane, it's probably gonna hurt theirs. So we usually eat the hummus and pretzels. I usually get like a protein drink or something.
We'll make yogurt parfaits. Like you can buy like a berry cup and a Greek yogurt cup and like mix up a parfait.
Because I think setting yourself up for success is just as important as setting your kid up. Is there anything else there?
Trying to think.
Yeah, we're not really introducing anything wildly new.
No.
So it's like if they eat the snack at home, that's what we're packing, as long as it meets, the general health criteria for us. All right, we'll end it there.
Okay. Yeah, we have.
Man, we really got heated up there. We were freaking rolling.
There's so much to this. It's weird to think that this has become so natural for us when it is so complex.
No. I want to close by saying it is not that complex. I think it's going to be okay. I think listening to episodes like this or looking up whatever your source of information is does help you be more thoughtful in your trip. It's not that complicated. It is worth putting thought into, though.
Here's my last piece of advice. To everyone out there who's like, I'm just going to wait till they're older and it's easier. It's not going to be easier when they get older because it will still be new. What we have learned firsthand is kids thrive and love to be included. Like, whenever we include our kids in a new adventure, they surprise us every time.
Yeah, true.
Our kids talk about Paris and Italy every single day. Like, literally every single day. They loved it. They talk about Greece, the big boat. They talk about
Mexico,
the mission trips. They love being included. It makes them feel responsible. It makes them feel just like special. So don't underestimate what your kids can do because they're amazing little creatures, guys. Just bring them with you. Rip the Band-Aid now, not later.
If you want to. You don't need to travel to have a happy life.
No, but if you are traveling, it's so much better to bring your kids.
I agree. Yeah. It's really precious memories. Even like the hard moments.
Yeah.
Even the hard moments. It's like, oh my gosh, do you remember when Drew was 6 weeks old in Park City and we couldn't get her to stop crying? And so we just did laps with her in her stroller around the kitchen island. I think I did it for 4 hours.
Oh, baby.
And that's like a precious memory of Drew. And like, she wasn't like she wasn't being mean.
Keep
she was
it
just
together.
like doing her thing.
Keep it together.
Anyway, it's good times. Let us know what you think of this episode. And let us know if you have any other tips. We're going to do a part 2. Holidays are just around the corner. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully this makes you feel encouraged and not overwhelmed. That's our intention, and that's been our experience as well. So if you made it this far, please subscribe to the show, give it a rating. Thumbs up on YouTube always helps. And we'll see you next week. I'm Andrew.
I'm Shawn.
East Fam out.